Hey everybody, welcome back to Wayne Manor North. I am your host Dan, and we are here for a dark edition of Wayne Manor North. Now, I'm not sure if you might have had the opportunity to see myself and Chris the Batman statue collector go live this past Friday afternoon featuring this masterpiece. I was very fortunate to get this one from Prime One just last week. Just got it on Friday. Here's a picture of the UPS truck bringing it to my house. Come on home to Papa. Super excited to get this in. Was a year and a half in the making at least, so couldn't be happier with it. And to see it in person, like most statues, is, I mean, it's just something off the charts. It is by far, and I have a number of nice pieces in my collection, this one is crazy spectacular. So but we're going to talk about that another time, and I'd also encourage you to watch Chris's review of this piece. Chris also got the Batman Who Laughs in recently as well, did a phenomenal job on an unboxing and a review. I'd encourage you to check that out. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about something else. So thanks again for tuning in. Let's get to it. You know what that means. Break out the clapperboard. Let's roll. Okay guys, let's get to it. So as I said, we're not here necessarily to talk about the big guy, we're here to talk about somebody else. And that somebody is his counterpart, Damian. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Damian and why he's different and set apart than the other Robins that are kind of enslaved to the big guy here, is in the stories related to Batman Who Laughs, and he got his start in Teen Titans number 12, where he was introduced, and his horde of Robin pets, as they're called in the book, also introduced at that time. But one thing that's curious, and it hasn't all unfolded yet, is Damian. So much the way that there is a father-son relationship between Bruce Wayne and his son Damian, whose mom is Talia al Ghul, for those of you who don't know, same relationship here. Batman Who Laughs, he doesn't treat his Damian any different either. So as the stories unfold in Teen Titans 12, in The Immortal Men, in Dark Knight's Metal, etc., we still don't know exactly how things are going to unfold. We don't know if we'll see Nightwing, will we see the other Teen Titans unfold. I'd encourage you to read the stories if you haven't already. Super, super fun. In Teen Titans 12, basically the Titans encounter what is called Challenger Mountain, and that's an older story. I won't go down that rabbit hole in this brief review, but they encounter a large mountain right in the middle of Gotham City. It is encircled by evil rings that are the doing of the Batman Who Laughs. He's imbued powers to Batman's rogues and has allowed them to set up these kinds of evil rings of defense around this Challenger Mountain, where the Titans, as well as the other heroes, are convinced that Batman is somehow imprisoned at the center of the mountain. Don't know how it's going to unfold. But nonetheless, really, really super good stories. I said it on the live unboxing the other day. I believe he's the best villain to hit DC since Harley Quinn back in '93. And I stand by that. I just think he's super compelling, super evil, and I'm sure there's tons of good stuff coming with him. So, but let's get to this. And why is this important? This is the much sought after DX component for this statue from Prime One. This 1/3 piece has a limited edition run of 700. The DX version that comes with Damian here has a limited edition of 500. So not a ton of these pieces around. If you can get your hands on one, I'd encourage you to. Looking at Damian, as you can tell, and I'm going to do some close-ups here, he's quite a bit different than the other Robins, and I'll include pics of those as well. His cape is of a different material. It's essentially the cloak that Damian wears as part of his Robin costume, right? His Robin's R is different on his chest, which is still there, even though much of his clothes, as you can see here, have been removed. There is a tie-in that I won't go into on this review to the Court of Owls, and you see the Court of Owls mask represented here. He's holding that. And I have to tell you, and you can see from this close-up, man, this mask is super, super cool. Chris actually caught it on the live unboxing the other day. The blood effect, and we don't see a ton of blood on Prime One statues, a little bit here and there. Dark Knight Returns has a little bit, as one of the viewers the other day mentioned on the live unboxing. but they really do a good job of it when they do it, and you can see it here on the mask. You also see that Damian's face is very different. He's a bit larger of a character. His hair is a little bit different color. His mask and the colors on his face are a little bit different. His skin is about the same, I'd say, as the other Robins. It kind of has this undead kind of feeling to it. And you can see the veins and the striations in the skin kind of running through. The musculature, or I should say, the anatomy is really, really spectacular on this. And that's true across the entire statue, the primary statue as well as this one. The colors underneath, the colors of his that are under his cloak that remain the kind of the scraps of his suit that are underneath are pretty much falling apart, but the colors are there and the textures are excellent. The inside of his cape, as you can see here, is kind of that tan, tan leather kind of look. The other piece that's different that you'll notice between Damian and the Robins are his hands and feet. Damian's not wearing his boots. Nor is he wearing his gloves. And as a matter of fact, you can see very clearly here on both his hands and his feet, he's got claws, and they're very similar to the claws or the long vampire-ish kind of nails that you see on the Batman who laughs. So there's a kind of a connection there that's different between the other Robins or the other Robin pets. The other piece that you see, like the Batman who laughs, who has these kind of armor elements to him, and he's got this headpiece that we still haven't learned a ton about yet, but you start to, as you kind of read the story, you start to think, wow, is one of the metals, one of the core metals that the stories are built around, is that somehow factored into his visor, his headpiece, that he doesn't even need eyes to see. He uses the metals to guide him through his day-to-day, so to speak. So who knows? But interesting that Damian has metal components on him as well. He has these kind of metal spiked wristbands, and he has the same kind of metal spiked ankle bracelets as well. The other piece that you'll notice, and I'll just mention this one last thing relative to the story, is he's not tied up by a dog collar. So there is a clear distinction made between Damian and the other Robin pets. This guy is not a pet. He is clearly not. So he's treated something differently. And it'll be interesting to see how the stories unfold. But I'll give you a couple other close-ups here to take a look. I would, as I said, I would highly encourage you to get this piece. The other thing I want to do is give you some measurements. He's actually quite a bit larger than at least I expected. So let me do that. Let me grab my tape measure and we'll take some measurements. All right, guys, I'm back with my trusty dusty, really cheap tape measure. He measures he's about a foot tall, about 12 inches tall. From front to back, he's about 8 inches, maybe 8.5 inches. And he's fairly wide. You can see here by his cape and the way that it's kind of billowing out to one side, he's going to need a good 9 inches of space. One of the things, and I'll show you guys where I'm going to display him here, but one of the things that you're going to want to keep in mind is the space that I had picked out for this guy, or for the complete setup, was a little bit too small. Even though I went by the measurements that were on the site, and I had him kind of tucked into the statue. What I found was, in displaying him, if I kind of pull him aside just a little bit, it creates much more, even though this is already, a diorama in most respects, this makes the diorama even that much more cool and expansive. So I would encourage you to think a little bit more about the space. I've got him set off a good 6 inches from the base of the primary statue, and it just brings a whole ton more life to the entire diorama, and just get that much more out of this incredible piece. So that's all, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick look at this super rare piece. I know there haven't been too many DXs that have hit the US market yet. I was very fortunate to, I think, get one of the first ones in the US, if not the first one. So I just want to give a shout out to Prime One. I know they have had their struggles with shipping lately. I certainly was vocal in communicating to Prime One about those challenges, and how I felt those of us who collect their statues with regularity, and even those who don't, those who only buy the occasional. These are expensive pieces, and I think good customer communication is key. I encourage them to do that, but in the end, they really stepped up. They got the statue out. They did the fair thing from a pricing standpoint, and I couldn't be happier than with this statue. I mean, it's just incredible. So I really appreciate you guys checking out this brief review of Damian, the DX component to the Batman Who Laughs, 1/3 scale from Prime 1. Thank you again so much for watching. One side note, I am filming this on Memorial Day, 2020, year of the apocalypse. And I just wanted to give a shout out to those who protect and serve our country. I really, really appreciate it. On behalf of myself and my family, I just want to say thank you. If you're watching this and you've served in any capacity, I want to give a big thank you to you. That is heartfelt. And thanks so much for everything that you do and have done. With that, I will check out. Thanks again, guys. Hope to see you again soon. Please like if you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to Batman Statue Collector. Tons of more good stuff coming. Several more Prime 1 statues coming in the months ahead. Should be a really great second half of the year. Thanks again for watching, and take care. Thanks, guys. See ya.